here has ever wondered what's out there? Raise your hand high if you've ever imagined humans living beyond Earth. I see, it's the majority, and it's actually not surprising. Humans are known to be discovering the unknown, and the telescope here is a great example of that. So let me begin our presentation about the telescope with a brief introduction of the history of the invention of the telescope. Hans Lippershey, a Dutch lensmaker, 1608, discovered that if you put together two lenses, you can magnify things in the distance. And Galileo, an Italian physicist, he took this invention and rebuilt it with greater magnification.
So Lippershey's telescope was originally used for military surveillance, such as spotting ships from far away, as well as land surveying and mapping. But Galileo's telescope, which was improved until it could magnify 30 times, was used for astronomical observation of planets, moons, the stars, and their movement. Now, before the telescope, people believed that Earth was the center of the universe and that everything orbits the Earth. But Galileo observed with his telescope that planets orbited the Sun and moons orbited Jupiter, not Earth, ultimately proving the heliocentric model, that the Sun is the center of the solar system. Scientists also previously believed that the moon was a perfect sphere, but Galileo observed shadows on the moons corresponding to mountains and craters, and he was able to estimate their heights and depths, as you can see in his drawing on the screen. Overall, telescopes allow for visual communication of scenes from very far away, and they made astronomical ideas accessible for anyone to understand visually. Telescopes allow for the creation of scientific diagrams directly from empirical data to communicate information. In all, the scientific revolution expanded and developed various forms of communication. And despite being invented several hundred years ago, telescopes are still widely used today in many fields, such as for astronomical imaging, space travel, and communication satellites. Science philosopher Harold Brown explains in his article on Galileo that a telescope modifies signals from the physical world to communicate much more precise and detailed information than we can observe with our own 5 human senses, which is what makes it so valuable as a scientific instrument. Telescopes nowadays have facilitated many new discoveries, such as the first image of a black hole, as well as biosignatures, evidence of past or present life on other planets. For example, the James Webb Space Telescope, pictured previously, recently found a molecular biosignature in a planet 124 light years away.
In addition to this, telescopes are continuing to fulfill our curiosity in related fields such as astronomy, astrophysics, engineering, and technology. Most importantly, their components continue to be improved upon to accomplish other goals in related fields. A good example of this lies within astronomy, where there are now telescopes that have been deployed solely for the study of space, ultimately working to show how central they are in the rise of observational astronomy and later experimental natural philosophy as well. Telescopes also pave the way for new discoveries. For example, they fulfilled our curiosity to be able to see beyond visible light. Not only this, but this is also seen in an article published by NASA where they highlight how the telescopes made way for other large discoveries to be made, such as the expansion of the universe. In Jim Bennett's article, Early Modern Mathematical Instruments, he discusses how before, early mathematical instruments solely measured angles, distances, and more, as seen in the picture to the right. However, later, telescopes gave way for humans to observe previously invisible phenomena. Bennett reveals how telescopes shifted scientific practice towards observation and also connected the worlds of mathematical instrumentation and philosophy. Ultimately, in the faraway world, we see how objects are beyond the human eye, or at least were before the invention of the telescopes. Now we have collected and analyzed data and radiation from celestial objects far away with the use of telescopes, such as the stars that surround us and the planets that are in our universe, as Lena mentioned. Not only this, but telescopes have allowed for the development and understanding of nuclear fusion through the observation of the sun, something that had been restricted due to the limited resources available during the Renaissance era. This example directly reveals the extent to which telescopes play a role in the development of modern society.
Yeah, so now we have showed you how the telescope is of great evidence for humanity's curiosity, the humans that they want to discover the unknown unknown. And yes, I started by asking you the question if you've ever wondered what's out there. And I know sometimes it may feel like you're a very small dot on this big surface called Earth. And let me have you said this. The setbacks that you have do not define you. It's the things that you made possible that do define you. So if you take anything out of our presentation, then I want this to be the message. stay curious. Keep asking those questions. Keep asking yourself, why is this happening and how can we expand? How can we discover more things? And it doesn't matter which field you are. Just stay curious and keep asking those questions. Thank you for listening.
Okay.